Episode 18, The Secret of the Heartstone. Galen bound the struggling miner securely to the altar. The miner screamed in terror, but his voice could not penetrate the thick stone walls. Galen placed the silver ore he was holding, the tears of the stars, in front of the black crystal on the altar. Then he began to chant in an unintelligible ancient language. As if responding to his incantation, the black crystal began to pulse faintly. Thump, thump. A sound like a beating heart echoed throughout the underground chamber. Ryan felt that the sound was similar to the pulse he had heard at the wellspring of magic in the Shadowwood. But this was far more sinister and unnatural. As the chant reached its climax, Galen pulled a lever on a mechanical contraption next to the altar. A complex network of glass tubes and metal pipes descended from the ceiling above the altar, connecting to the miner's body, the silver ore, and the black crystal. Grah! Bluish energy was drawn from the miner's body, flowing through the glass tubes and into the black crystal. His body withered rapidly. The same silver spots that Ryan had seen on the other miners began to appear on his skin. Simultaneously, an intense light emanated from the silver ore and was absorbed into the crystal, devouring the two sources of energy. The black crystal began to glow brighter and brighter. The pulsing of the crystal intensified, and the very air around it seemed to distort. Ryan sensed that this was no simple alchemy, but a forbidden black magic using life force and mineral energy to create something truly horrific. When the ritual was over, the miner had been reduced to a desiccated mummy. Galen kicked his body aside dismissively and stared at the black crystal, which now pulsed with a much more intense light. His eyes filled with wonder. At last, the Heartstone is almost complete. All that is left is to absorb the life force of one final strong vessel. The preparations to welcome the Great Master will be finished. Galen smiled with satisfaction, carefully removing the Heartstone from the altar. He placed it in a special box and carried it into another room in the laboratory. As soon as he was gone, Ryan and Alara cautiously emerged from the shadows. Lara bit her lip as she looked at the miner's discarded corpse on the altar. Her eyes were not filled with tears, but with a burning rage. That devil! I'll kill him with my own hands. Calm down. Now is not the time, Ryan said, placating her. We have to rescue Sir Boren first. The strong vessel Galen mentioned must be him. They moved cautiously down the corridor opposite to the direction Galen had gone. At the end of the corridor was a room with a heavy iron door. There was a small barred window in the door. When Ryan peeked through the bars, he could see Boren inside, sitting bound in chains. Fortunately, he didn't appear to be seriously injured, but his face was etched with exhaustion. Sir Boren, Ryan whispered. Ryan, it's you. You're safe. A look of relief washed over Boren's face. Shh. We'll get you out of here soon. I'll see what I can do about the door. You save your strength. Ryan examined the lock on the door. It was no ordinary lock. It had a complex trap mechanism and was magically sealed. It was far beyond Rain's skills. Damn it. We'll need an expert to open this. I'll try. Lara stepped forward. She took out a set of thin wires and tools from her belt. I learned a bit about lockpicking from my father when I was a kid. This looks easier than the locks on the dynamite chests at the mine. While Lara focused on the lock, Ryan surveyed their surroundings. He was curious about the room Galen had entered. Asking Alara to keep watch, he carefully made his his way to that room. The door was unlocked. The inside looked like Kalen's private study. Countless parchments and books were scattered on the desk. What caught Ryan's eye was an old journal lying open on the desk. He carefully picked it up. The cover read, Kalen's Research Journal. Ryan quickly flipped through the pages. In it, the terrible secret of the Heartstone was recorded in difficult-to-read script and strange diagrams. The Heartstone was a medium to summon an ancient, evil entity, the Shadow Lord, into this world. And the silver ore, known as the Tears of the Stars, was a special material that resonated with that entity's power. Under the patronage of Baron Thornfield, Kalen had been completing the Heartstone by sacrificing the life force of the miners. On the last page of the journal, Ryan found a shocking entry. The final sacrifice to complete the Heartstone must be the pure life force of a mighty warrior of an ancient bloodline. As luck would have it, a foolish knight has walked right into our hands. Upon checking his family crest, I was astonished to find that he is the last descendant of the ancient hero, Valador. His power will be more than enough to complete the Heartstone. The ritual will be performed on the night of the next lunar eclipse. Ryan caught his breath. The lunar eclipse was the very next night. And Boren, he was no simple country knight. He was, without his own knowledge, the last descendant of a legendary hero. All the pieces were falling into place. Baron Thornfield's true goal was not simple wealth or power. He was trying to summon the Shadow Lord into this world. And Boren was fated to be the final sacrifice for that terrible plan. Episode 19, The Heart of the Mind. The eclipse is tomorrow night. We have to rescue Sir Boren and get out of here before then. Ryan explained the shocking truth he had learned from Kalen's journal to Alara. She looked incredulous, but seeing the gravity on Ryan's face, she eventually nodded. The lock is almost picked. Just give me a little more time, Alara said, beads of sweat on her forehead. Just then, footsteps echoed from the far end of the corridor. It was Kalen. Sensing that something was amiss, he was cautiously approaching their position. Damn it, there's no time. Ryan looked around and spotted a worn tapestry hanging on the corridor wall. He tore a piece off and lit it with a torch. Then, he threw it to the opposite end of the corridor, where a pile of waste had been collected. The dry trash and oil residue caught fire, and black smoke began to billow up instantly. Fire! There's a fire! Ryan yelled at the top of his lungs. Emergency bells clanged throughout the basement. Kalen, flustered, ran towards the fire, and the other guards began to scramble in confusion. Seizing the opportunity created by the chaos, Lara finally succeeded in picking the lock. With a loud click, the heavy iron door swung open. Sir Boren, let's go. Ryan and Alara rushed into the room and undid the chains binding Boren. Despite having been imprisoned for several days, Boren still seemed full of energy. Rian, Lara, I knew you'd come for me. Save the thanks for later. Let's get out of here. Using the smoke as cover, the three of them retraced their steps and ran for the drainage ditch. The underground prison was in a state of pandemonium. The guards were preoccupied with putting out the fire, and the trapped miners were crying out in terror. Lara paused for a moment in front of the cell where her father was held. Father. But her father showed no reaction. He had already become a soulless shell. Lara, we can't do anything right now. We have to survive first if we're to save them. Ryan said, pulling her by the arm. Lara, tears welling in her eyes, forced herself to move. They reached the drainage ditch safely, but their problems were just beginning. How were they to reveal this truth to the world? The village guard was already in the Baron's pocket. There wasn't enough time to ask for help from another lord. We have to stop the ritual, Lara said with a determined voice. We have to destroy the Heartstone and finish the Baron and Galen with our own hands. But how? The manor will be an impregnable fortress by now. The three of us taking them on head-on would be like throwing eggs at a rock, Ryan said. The ritual won't be held at the manor, Warren spoke up. He said he had overheard the guards talking while he was in prison. They spoke of a place called the Heart of the Mind. They said everything would end there, on the night of the lunar eclipse. The Heart of the Mind. Ilara's eyes flashed. My father told me about it. It's a huge cavern in the deepest part of the mine. He said it was like an ancient ruin. That's where the tears of the stars were first discovered. Everything became clear. The Baron's real stage was not the manor, but the mine. On the night of the eclipse, he was planning to use the power of the ancient ruins to summon the Shadow Lord. Then, our objective is clear. Rian's gaze sharpened. Tomorrow night, before the eclipse, we infiltrate the heart of the mine and shatter their plan. But the mine will be heavily guarded as well. The mine is my playground, Lara said with a confident smile. I've been going in and out of it with my father since I was a child. I know all the secret passages and ventilation shafts the guards don't. Once again, the unlikely trio resolved to take on a seemingly impossible mission. Behind them, the Baron's manor burned, spewing black smoke. It was like a big